because they got to get off to a good start. Take round one if you can. Really make 2Z think like, hey, we got a game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final day of the 2017 Quake World Championships. This is the first semifinal for Team Sacrifice, and let's kick it over the casters to take us to the action.
Thank you very much. We are about to go live, and for the defendants, they're going to have to do something that nobody else has done, and that is take a map off 2Z.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First of all, they've got to take a round because 2Z has yet to drop one of those. We are with clawz at the moment, though, who is rocking that slash, and we might be seeing a bit of a plasma trail setup now. You can see that all over. Nyx as well is going to be used, I think, from... oh, let's actually have a look at the moment. It's actually Silencep who's going to be grabbing the soul immediately, and it seems there's not very much trauma at all. They're very easily carrying over to Obelisk A and getting the game started comfortably for 2Z.
Yeah, I almost feel that some of those defendants might still be in bed at the moment as they just let Silencep away. And, you know, he's still on board with him. He's only now starting to run into a bit of bother. As now that quad goes up and will be picked up by the defendants first and foremost.
Well, very well done from Krysa to actually get hold of that quad. He's managed to settle back to his own obelisk. He's going to have to find a way to penetrate the defense now of 2Z. What we've seen from 2Z before is they like to sometimes move away from their obelisk and set up in mid. But let's take a look. Needs some damage from Krysa at the moment. There you go. clawz is going to go down. We have got the shotgun coming out. There's the nail gun, but he can't seem to find any extra frags at all.
He was left so far alone. Like, he had one guy coming in for that quad, and he was going up into everyone. So, not what they wanted if you're Krysa there. He was just probably screaming on comms for help.
That's it, and I believe, it is going to be Krysa who eventually gets it back, but the machine gun damage done by Latrommi, he chases through the teleporter, in fact, and he is going to be running past the rockets, and has got support on the other side by clawz, who's trying to lock down, or zone control a bit with that plasma trail.
Yeah, clawz going clay pigeon shooting with that man coming up the jump pad, and now you'll see the defendants still stuck on 0 as they rain in towards the obelisk itself, and they're going to try and take that away as Latrommi will make his way over towards the... where is he headed? He's going to go straight into the enemy base, I think.
He was taking his time there for a moment to go back to defense, but I think his teammates called, well, you know what, we got it locked down. It's safe, it's absolutely fine. And he's doing some great damage. We've got another attack from the defendants, trying to get something done. A little bit of juking done there by a defendants player, but looks like they're very safe and sound. We are on 62% on the first round, and there is really very little pressure that's been had. Nothing for the defendants to shout about just yet. And all you're seeing on the kill feed, it seems to be blue name over red name. That is really 2Z having a sensational beginning.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're even taking odds on the defendants getting a point at the moment. We're up to 75-0, and the defendants has, well, they've got one item that could really change this one if they want a way back in.
And that is Avik, who's got himself the nail gun. They got the protection as well, importantly, and he's going to have to do something with it. I don't know why he's going to be killing himself. In fact, he had a small stack going for him, but he didn't want to be the one to run in. And they have managed to eventually get the soul. Krysa with a good amount of health and armor, but he's trying to move forward. They've managed to somehow focus fire him and do a lot of damage, but a little bit of trickery from Krysa. Going to get himself the armor. Or not.
Importantly, though, he does have the soul, and this could be the first points on the board for him. Takes Xron before getting picked off by clawz. Latrommi will follow up, and now we're going to see whether that soul can make its way in. It's too good on the run to try and get it in, but he can't do it. And that soul will be ran all the way back. Silencep is on escort duty. One player waiting for him is Avik at the obelisk, but it won't happen. We're up to 90% now, and the defendants are in real trouble.
Yeah, they just had a protection. They had a stacked Anarchy, who's a very hard target to hit when you compare it to other champions, and they were still not able to run the soul from opponents back to theirs. Now we have got Too Good trying to get something done. Silencep in the way with the acid spit coming out, damage coming down, and the soul's just been thrown into the corner. And I think there was Xron, who just managed to pick it up. clawz backing him up, and they're going to take it all the way back. There's only 3% left to get. And where is the offense from defendants? Too Good slipping in. And there's Krysa. They have actually got their teammates around, but they've got to go up against the 99% 2Z on round 1 here of the semifinals. Oh, Krysa can't make it happen.
Latrommi was waiting, he got Krysa and Too Good. clawz gets picked off by Deus in the end, but there's Latrommi now going to try and run that home and finish off this game. It's a contest in there. Who is that he's going up against? It was Krysa, and they both exchange. Soul is dropped right down but next to that obelisk. Will we see the 100%? We should do from Silencep right about. Oh, still someone going in there. Deus gets pummeled. Surely now the job will be done as
they keep attacking.
Defendants just will not give it up. They have the soul momentarily, but there are 3 players there now, and that should be all she wrote. 100% 2-0 2Z, looking mighty fine this morning.
That is a way to put your mark on the playoff bracket here of the Sacrifice at the Quake World Championship. I definitely favor 2Z in this matchup, but crikey, they are making it look a bit too easy at the moment. I mean, we know that we asked, sorry, Too Good and Deuce were asking, please don't humiliate us. Please go easy on us a little bit and make us look at least somewhat good. They're not doing that at all. I'm going to be very nervous for them if we see another 100-0.
And it's possible. This 2Z side ain't that good, and the Defendants really, in that last map, just were that bad as well. Let's see whether there's anything that they could do. The Defendants do have the soul, though, at the moment.
This is a chance to get their first percentage points on the board. And we got Avec there, I believe, running towards the teleporter. Sorry, the bounce pad even.
He's got 3 players with him. Here we go, Avic's going to run that one home. No, Latrommi's not going to allow it. His shotgun picks off Avic, and now Silencep will go in point-blank range, dispatches of Deus, and the Defendant side will push through, and we do have 2Z getting the soul to that obelisk.
What was very interesting there is that Latrommi was right next to obelisk B. He had the soul, but he didn't want to capture it there. They really chose the positioning over at A in order to play out this round. Too Good has been past it. He has got the quad damage as well. He's focusing a lot on the opponents down below when he could probably just get the first percentage points on their obelisk in the whole game itself. Hasn't quite died, and there we go. I think, you know, one step at a time for the Defendants, and this is it.
Yep, Too Good on a rampage as well. He's picked up 3 frags with this quad. Going for number 4. In the end, it is clawz, the man in the duel final, who will end his reign. And we will see the Defendants momentarily a few points to the good. They're 12-9 up.
Here comes the attack there from 2Z. The quad damage is down, can no longer use it, and they've managed to get some pickoffs, 2Z that is. Let's see if that's where the team is suddenly going to barge in. Latrommi, Silencep clearing up 3 together and searching to get the soul out. It is Xron who's got hold of it. He's pretty weak and might want to look at throwing it at some point soon, but with the walls covering him on the defense, he's done that comfortably.
Too Good gets picked off by Xron there. Now we'll see as Deus outed, and Latrommi will follow up with a frag of his own. It's all on board with clawz as he picks off Deus as well, the former Iron Fist star of TDM days gone by. And the 2Z side have taken the lead now.
Yeah. This guy, clawz, is someone you've got to watch out for, not just in this tournament, but probably for the foreseeable future in Quake Champions. Definitely put his mark on the map. We've got 20 seconds until the next power-up. And very soon the teams are going to be thinking about how they're going to be setting up for this. But at the moment, the 2Z are racking up some points and feeling pretty good.
On board with Latrommi, who's just hunting for Avec, finds him and takes the kill and defends that obelisk with one of his teammates. Quad is up any second now, and the Defendants will descend upon it and collect. And Latrommi has 2 frags, Krysa and Avec both down. He now goes hunting with his LG for more, as there are, unluckily for him, there are no Defendants around. As soon as he picks it up, he is chasing shadows, waiting for someone to say where they are. He will now get early sighting. No! And the man with a quad can't find anyone to love.
But what I like, he's not just sitting on the obelisk, he actually is looking for the frags and trying to make something happen, and to just clear off the defense and force them onto the respawns a lot. I have seen a couple of questionable plays so far from the Defendants, rushing 1 or only 2 people at a time. They really need to time their attacks better, and just then we eventually saw a 3rd move into support. This could be an attack that helps them out a lot. And that is Deuce has currently got the soul. Is he going to be able to escape at all? He's at rockets. I can see there a chase from Latrommi. He's done significant damage, but here come all the Defendant players to support them.
It's Too Good, who had picked up 4 frags in that run, but Silencep with a hat-trick. Latrommi picks up frag number 4, and that'll be the end. The moment the Defendants were able to rack up a handful of frags, they were in the end left soul searching once again, as Too Good stopped Silencep from dispatching to that obelisk, and Xron will be the one trying to recover that.
And we're at 25% remaining for 2Z, locking this one down nicely. Fearful at the moment for Defenders, only getting 20% throughout the entirety of the first map. This is the 2Z map pick though, so there might be some silver lining for the Defendants and to look forward to the next map. Definitely don't need to feel bad about what's going on just yet. But pressure continuing from the Defendants. They're just launching as many men towards the obelisk as they can, just because there's so little time left in order to get things done. 10% now remain for 2Z to take map 1.
Yeah, on board with Latrommi as he's going to go find Krysa as the... We'll see protection coming up any second now as well. And wow, beautiful play from Latrommi and his LG. Picks himself up 3 frags, and now Latrommi will be rewarded. And that will be the game on top of that as well.
Now we saw at the power-up right at the end that it was just Latrommi putting pressure on it. We had a couple of individuals from the Defendants going for it, but the rest of them were like, okay, we've really just got to focus the obelisk. We've got to get there. There's so little percentage left on it. And if anything, they probably should have all ignored the protection. That was the only way they were going to keep buying some more time. But then if you do that, you give the protection over to 2Z, and that's just going to reward them with a fantastic counterattack.
To say that man you saw on the screen a moment ago, Too Good probably had the best of that second round. He stepped up and picked up a couple of hat-tricks, and we'll see whether the rest of his team can show up for map number 2. You had a fun fact you wanted to share with us, but before we went on air, about the origins of the 2Z side.
Yeah, I think it touched, Latrommi touched on it a little bit in one of the interviews, but it's really interesting where the 2Z name derives from. It's actually a team that Latrommi had with his dad when Latrommi was 7 years old, and when they were actually the best 2v2 partnership in their town. And this is what they liked to compete with. And as Latrommi grew older, he tried to kind of revive that name in name of his dad for all the Quake that he was playing with him. And during Quake Live, he felt that as he was a bit newer to the scene there, he couldn't just mark his authority or assert himself on the map just then, because there's already very established teams. Now we're moving into Quake Champions. I think he's really proud to be able to represent 2Z, meaning twos or aces in Russian, and being able to share that with his teammates now.
What a wholesome fun fact to start us off here on a Saturday morning. God, warms this old man's heart. On board, as we look across this screen, talk us through what you're seeing on these faces right now. It's an early Saturday morning. Are you seeing nerves? Are you seeing tiredness? Are you seeing people just wanting to get underway? What are you looking? What?
It's clawz. It's I don't know, easy. As what he likes to say, at least. He's in the duel finals. He's having a phenomenal tournament on every side of it. And I think he's feeling really confident going into this. I know that it's been all smiles since they got here.
He looked confident. I think he's agreeing with us. He can hear us. Smile if you're confident. We'll take that as a maybe.
And what I found fascinating, what he said before, is that even though he beat Kula in the semifinals and made it all the way to the grand finals, we didn't see popping off or anything like that. He said, my goal is to win the tournament, and he's not satisfied until that point is reached, and it's going to be absolutely the same for Sacrifice. He wants to see him and the boys making it all the way, as well as himself succeed in the duel. And I think we're really seeing a class act and a star in the making at this stage. Xron, right at the front, I think is also a quality person, really underrated talent. He actually met clawz early in the quarterfinals, I believe, of the duel playoffs, and unfortunately he had to give up that spot for clawz to go ahead and succeed.
Now, you had an AVIC Kula final for it.
I did.
What is different here? What has changed to allow a player like Vu, for example, to really fly through, for clawz to fly through, players who I think you didn't even have in the top 8? What has been different this weekend in the way the game's played out?
I think the way that clawz has just been intelligent with his aggression, it's been something that people have been very fearful of. Usually when you're playing against a top-level experienced player, there's a level of respect that you grant them. And when you see those rockets coming around the corner, or when you see any spam on a corridor, it's like, right, I'm going to avoid that entrance, that exit. but combining it with the abilities that we're seeing and the raw aim that we're getting from clawz, he's really able to put his opponents off guard and feel very threatened. And for Vu, it's such a different play style. I know that we're going to be seeing a very different grand final to what we expect in terms of a clash of play styles, but we're going to see a different type of speed and a different type of controlled aggression from Vu. Very interested to see how that plays out. But I want to talk a little bit about the match that we got at the moment. We saw a crushing defeat for the Defendants. We saw, I think, 20% is all that they gained in the 2 rounds that we saw on Ruins of Sarnath, and moving over to Blood Covenant. It's a map that has been picked by Defendants. I expect them to do a little better than they did beforehand. I'm still delighted to cast this because we see the genius plays from 2Z, but I don't know, have you got hopes or expectations for Defendants to do better than they did?
Where there is too good, there is hope. I think that's on a statue somewhere in like a Buddhist temple. I'm pretty sure it's something like that. So you never know. But in all honesty, I don't practice that religion because I don't have hope. 2Z have looked too good from the moment they arrived here in Dallas. And the Defendants, I think, knew that, and they're one of those teams that you're going to keep seeing in Quake, that you see in every game. They're an all-star lineup. They're too good to not place, but they're probably not good enough to win.
I see. That's very harsh but fair, I would say. And Too Good is actually on the team Defendants, is really kind of the shot caller, but not just that. He's the guy who manages the emotions of the players. So he's really trying to steer his team in the right way. What I fear that they don't have that 2Z does is they don't have Silencep and Xron really being the masterminds of the strategy, going through theory crafting, all these different things they can do with champion compositions and little routes that they can run together. These guys,
like the Defendants, to be blunt, like they don't have time for that. Like Avex wants to be a champion jeweler, James is doing other things, like Deus has a full-time job. Like they're not going to go for that, but they're far too good to, individually they're too talented to not place.
Exactly, exactly. And then when you put it over to the younger guys, they are spending a lot more of their spare time thinking about these crazy strategies. And that's where I think they've excelled over a lot of other teams. They've just put that thinking time and that reviewing of a lot of videos and making themselves play a lot better. They haven't always been great Quake champions. They did have a rough time starting things up. It was actually Strengths who was originally on the team. And Xron eventually took the place of Strengths while Strengths was in the shower. So, and Xron has been someone who's been able to elevate that team to a new level and make them perform at this kind of star quality. We've just got such a phenomenal level of aim. Latrommi is just, I mean, one of the wildest Anarchy players you're going to see. Here's how effective he is with a shotgun. It is reminiscent of the way that he plays CPM, the way that he played Quake Live, as he was someone who dominated in that period. But we are live on map number 2 here in the Quake World Championship Sacrifice Semi-Finals. And we're on Krysa with the Anarchy, waiting for that first soul.
And it will spawn right about now, collected by the Defendants, and it will be, oh no, the colors are all wrong. It will be collected, yes it is collected by the Defendants, my bad. And Too Good will move it away with the rail over to the obelisk straight away.
Well, that's good news. They got 2%.
Oh, you're a brutal man, Zoot.
Oh no, we got a couple more at the moment. They're racking it up at this stage. 2Z might be sweating a little bit. They're going to have to tailor their aggression somehow. That power up there has been taken. I believe was that Too Good? Oh no, it's Xron. My absolute mistake, and he is devastating the Defendants team right now. There goes Too Good going down. Krysa being picked up on the side. There is some pressure from Deuce on the flank, but that is a nice pass over to Silencep, switched over to Latrommi as well, and going to start racking up the percentage themselves.
Yeah, and this is Latrommi getting himself in a world of trouble there. Avik and his LG also taking that armor, made sure there was no fun to be had for him. And now we'll see Xron picking himself up 2 kills. He wants to finish off, avenge for Avik, and Avik will have none of it. Another LG frag coming in for him. Now Krysa going to help Avik out, and that soul has been stolen, tossed up top, but is not going anywhere, as that was met by a whole world of rockets.
Yeah, insane damage going. The Soul is actually still on the bridge, and I believe that is... Oh no! Xron actually managed to just snatch the Soul right in the end. There were a couple of Defendants players there, but they weren't able to get anything done. Pressure on the Obelisk by Deuce, but he is losing health very, very quickly. Avec, he's coming in to further support and to avenge his fallen teammate. We have got a Soul grab as well. Latrommi, though, he's trying to cover the center part of the map in case anyone's going to be running back this direction, but he's not been able to get much done. This is very well played by Krysa so far.
Yeah, on board with him as he will run that over. Oh, waiting for him was Latrommi, and he will pick it up, and that Soul has been picked up. Too Good is the man who had it, but is going no further than Latrommi, and that Soul will sit momentarily stationary as it's now the Defendants who have it in position at the Obelisk, and let's see whether they can hold on to it. Soul has been stolen. Who is that Soul man who's got it? As it will be, well, momentarily it was clawz running it out of there.
Yeah, I think Silencep was following up very closely. That was such a great attack as well from 2Z. All three of them on the point. We have got protection that's being contested right now. I think that was Too Good that had it just a moment, but Latrommi, he's got that all-important Soul. Maybe he wants to hide a little bit in order to avoid that protection. And there it is. Too Good right in front. Pressure coming down. He's trying to get the direct rockets onto him, but the Soul has been taken. The amount of rockets that are hitting Too Good at the moment. But eventually it gets passed over to Krysa with that speed, able to run it back to base.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, the strength of that protection there as Too Good was just able to stand a barrage. And the Defendants are leading by 5 here. And this has been a much better start. Perhaps reports of their demise have come a little too soon.
No, that's exactly what they need. Of course, there's unrelenting pressure from 2Z. They're picking up points a little bit at a time, and I think that's what the most they can hope for. Problem is, that's exactly what 2Z is able to do. clawz, he gets it back to base, but he's immediately followed by 3 Defendants players. Too Good, Deuce, both getting themselves some frags. And Krysa, he's been past the Soul. I love the teamwork we're seeing, and maybe now he's going to be a bit more patient. Say, guys, where's it safe? Which way am I able to go? Like the word has come in, and it's been excellent coordination, but he dies just before he gets to the Obelisk. Silencep, he's guarding any of the other sides. clawz, he's able to slide around there with that quick ball movement and does get himself back. Needs some help. Takes down Krysa single-handedly, and he's got to defend the base from 3 incoming Defenders players, and of course he's not going to be able to survive. He is not immortal.
What's interesting is like the amount of like angles there are on this map. You can see from those last 2 Soul runs that no one really has eyes on the whole of the map. And you know, both times we've been able to be like, oh, I think the Obelisk is clear. Oh wait, no, it's not.
Yeah, just the coordination that we're seeing. I'm actually really enjoying how Defendants are playing this thing so much better than they were on Ruins. But they still got to go up against the might of 2Z. clawz getting a heap of frags just then. We've got the next power-up coming up at the moment. That is going to be Silencep who grabs it. Got to watch out for the pummel coming out from Krysa, and he's just moving backwards a little bit, looking to put some pressure on. Great rail, though, from Avec, taking down the quad temporarily. But I think there was a teammate there. Yeah, and it's clawz.
Yeah, someone you would not want to call quad on is clawz, and he dispatches of 1, 2, 3. Beautiful play from clawz. There might be a 4th to follow as well. He is just on a rampage. And, well, the Obelisk and that scoreline goes up and up for 2Z. They're at 75 to 39 here, and now the opportunity for them to really close this round out is upon them.
Yeah, 20% to go. He's taking the higher position to see if he can defend from any people incoming towards the bridge. Krysa trying to put some pressure down, but Silencep, he's going to be using that acid spit to block off that choke point. So many frags coming out from 2Z. You can see at the top when that cross comes up in that player square. Those are the respawns that you'd be waiting for. Deuce moving in with a teammate. They've got 3 on the point. Where's the pressure coming from? Soul has been taken. Did he have enough time to throw it away? I don't think he did, and that is 99% right now for 2Z. There's going to be a suicide from Krysa. It looks like they've eliminated the competition in the first round of this map, and we'll get that 1-0.
Much closer round there, not only by percentages, but you felt that on a fragging level, we actually saw more of the Defendants there than we did. But the problem for them was all those frags came in the 2Z Obelisk area, and the match really was played there. If you kind of were to watch a heat map of that game, you feel like the second half of it really would have just all been played at that 2Z Obelisk. And that's because that's where the Soul was. That's where the points were. And now let's see whether they can do anything about that this time.
No, exactly. I still, to emphasize, improved plays from Defendants. They've got to keep up that coordination, and as soon as they get any opening frags, they've got to bite as a team. They're doing it now, but they need to just do more of it.
Soul taken. Soul lost.
Lots of exchanges at the moment with the Soul. Havoc is going to be able to grab it, and once again, it is Defendants who get the Soul captured on their obelisk first. But it's a question of right now, how much time can they hold on to it for? They need to get those resources as much as they can. They need to set up on the high and the low positioning between them and defend. Problem is, there's the power-up coming. They've got to think about everything that's going on. And this is something that actually QWC don't mind doing. They don't mind giving up the Soul first, because if they can control that power-up, they're able to dominate the second minute of the match.
Let's see what Xron has to do with it. He has one frag to his quad thus far, and he is waiting to get information from the rest of his team. On board with him as that Soul starts making its way elsewhere. Frag from Deus will get himself the quad as his present, and let's see what the Scotsman's got to do as Krysa and his rocket dispatch of clawz at the obelisk, and now incoming with that quad is Deus once more, rocketing through the door. I would not want to be facing him. He gets himself, with the help of Avek, the frag onto Silencep, and well, let's see. Is there to be a Soul escape?
Oh, brilliant frag there from Deus. We saw the first real mistake just then from QWC. They had Xron on the quad. He had, I believe it was Latrommi that was right next to him, and he didn't fall back to get the quad damage. Gave it up to Krysa, and that's allowed them to get a lot of frags. However, we are watching Silencep with the Soul at the moment. He needs words from his teammates. Where is it safe? He just about makes it back and is able to secure the first points of this round. But frags immediately on the return. Too good. Deuce getting some work done. And they've even taken a Soul.
Let's see whether Silencep can stop that from escaping. It has done exactly that, and he's not exactly sure where. He's got a teammate helping him in the middle. It's Avek who has it, and running around that corner is going to be Silencep, and he can get no further. Soul tossed by Avek, actually to his opponent, and it will move away.
Got a little bit of beach volleyball going on there for a second. And eventually Defendants, they're going to be able to retain that lead on round number 2. And this is the most significant lead we've seen from them yet against QWC. Krysa will die. We're seeing a heap of frags coming in from the QWC players. And this should allow them to very soon get hold of that Soul. But clawz being a defining factor in that successful attack. Let's try and see who's got hold of that Soul. But as we move into the power-up, we've also had Latrommi who just grabbed it. Silencep exchanged over to him.
Collects that health as well to help him along as he will now make his way looking for frags. He's got someone in his back, and he makes his way over towards the obelisk where the Soul is, and there's a 4-man QWC setup at there, but you will see Too Good come raiding in. Latrommi now has that LG and the quad, and Dallas awakens to the sound of fragging over at that obelisk. And now Latrommi will be playing for letting someone out of that place, and it was Krysa. He knew Krysa was going to collect them, but he was going to be waiting for him on the exit.
And the quad has gone down. There was Avek momentarily with the Soul, but he could not push it away further, and slowly but surely QWC seems to be crawling back. Soul currently on the floor. Silencep, he got nearby, just managed to get hold of it. Deuce with a heap of frags. He's going to throw that Soul to the upper levels like, please, teammate, I need someone up there to support me. And all the players are down below.
Yeah, he threw it up and it was collected by QWC.
Maybe we're just getting a little bit of a panic on the coordination. At this stage, they just want to throw that Soul as far away as possible from the QWC base. Krysa, though, ultimately him being able to bring it back to base and just hold on to that lead narrowly. They're approaching that 50% mark. They are going to make it. They're halfway there to win a round. It could be the first one against QWC this tournament.
Well, QWC always have a trick up their sleeve. Let's see, they're about to mount their next attack. It's clawz who will go in, and it's Deuce who will say, not today, thank you. And he will return to Obelisk A, where he'll spy that red silhouette of 2 players coming in between him. Big rocket goes onto Latrommi, but he will finish off that player, and now will be clawz with the Soul moving away at pace through the old Mega Room, and now makes his way up towards the his own obelisk. Has 2 players coming towards him, but his LG dispatched to the first. Does he have any more? Nice play! clawz, Too Good, and Krysa both go down, and now he's held on, and he's putting up those points on his own.
Now this is a crucial point in the game for QWC to try and catch up. They've managed to lock down that protection themselves, so we should see probably the next 10-15 seconds go in their favor and probably tie up on points. but there's going to be plenty of time to play with after. One of the longer rounds that we've seen so far from anyone going up against 2Z.
We are about to go up to 66 apiece as the Soul sits in Obelisk B, and there's nothing that the defendants can do about it, particularly when Xron is going to be railing with such aplomb. Nice work from him. Havoc goes down. Can he follow up with any more? The Soul has been picked up, but has been returned. And now the 2Z side have taken the lead right at crunch time.
Yeah, they're in the lead by over 10 points at the moment. Found a rocket there in a small room on the side. Silencep trying to cover that choke point. We have got Avec on the point as well, but he is going to die very shortly. Too good as well. Guarding that armor, trying to get any kind of space. Sorlag as well, under a huge amount of pressure. They're trying to just get any fingers on that Soul, but nothing's working. It's 10% to go for 2Z to make their way to the finals.
Here we are, Silencep sat back, waiting for the defenders to say, come at me, plucks Too Good out of the sky with that rock rail, and now, as he waits, here's another one. It's Krysa that goes down, and this is beautiful play, and the defendants will bow out to a perfect performance from 2Z.
Unbelievable from 2Z. I know sometimes you're just you're making those wild off-the-cuff predictions and saying that 2Z are going to do really well and take the win, but you know what? They lived up to it. There was no curse at all from any commentator or analyst. That was a meticulous effort there from 2Z.
Yeah, round one on map one was 100%, and whilst the defendants got better, the 2Z side did also just wake up and rise to the challenge as the rounds got on. I mean, they were warmed up by the end of that as well, hitting some beautiful shots.
Definitely. And a big shout out to the defenders as well, improving throughout the series, as you touched on already. Their coordination looks so much nicer on Blood Covenant than it did on Ruins. And I think if there was another round they could have played, then I would have expected them to go even closer to taking that round. But still, no round has been taken from 2Z.
Can anyone stop them?
You know what? I'm not sure anyone can.
Well, what a fantastic match that was. Let's throw it over to hear some more from Mr. Graham and the gang.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I mean, a very quick 2-0. Taking a look at that round one and game number one, 100%, totally clean win. And it was, you know, by the 4-minute mark, it was pretty apparent who was going to win. And I talked a little bit about needing that, you know, needing that momentum early on if Defendants was going to, and like 2Z was like, no, our strategy is that you will not get an ounce of momentum. What did you guys think of that matchup, Jar?
I mean, yeah, you were right. They needed that momentum, but it looked like 2Z was, you know, they might need to add a little letter E to their clan tag there, maybe too easy.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you think?
Domination. To use a Quake term, the Defendants got owned. They really did. You know, credit to them for making as far as they did. They're
$55,000.
Yeah, they're a hell of a team. But you got to give credit to 2Z for, I mean, they really put it on them. And, you know, that first round was really indication. The 100-0 was, after I saw that, I'm like, you know, we were talking about momentum and trying to get things going. I'm like,
It's like the quickest way to shut that momentum.